Circle each pair of ratios that forms a proportion. All right, so there's a couple different ways that we talked about doing this. To me, the simple way is just a cross multiply. So 5 times 32 and then 8 times 20. So 5 times 32 is 160, and 8 times 20 is 160. Since those work, that is an answer. Over here, 12 times 63, 28 times 27. All right, so 12 times 63 is 756. 28 times 27 is 756. Those are the same, so that is a good answer choice. 40 times 42, 48 times 56. This gives me 1,680. 2,688. That is not the same, so that is not an answer choice. And last one, 6.4 times 80 and 16.32, or 16 times 32. 6.4 times 80 is 512, and 16 times 32 is, yay, 512. So these three all form a proportion. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle EDC. All right, so there's two ways. So we talked about you could just match up, or you could actually look at the picture. So let's just actually look at the picture, and then we'll do kind of the cheat way. Which side in triangle EDC corresponds to AC? So AC is here. So AC is going from 2 lines to no line. So I need to go over here. Which goes from 2 lines to no line? It's this one. So EC or CE, which is this one. The cheat way, remember, was I just look at it. So if it asked me for AC, so AC, EC. Mrs. Hinton is buying a sweater that costs $90. It is on sale for 60% off. What is the exact price of the sweater after the discount? I take 60%. I turn it into a decimal by dipping twice. And then I multiply by $90, which is the amount of the sweater. So 60 times 0.6, or 0.6 times 90 is $54. That is how much the discount, but it wants to know the exact price of the sweater after the discount. So I take the original amount of the sweater, which is $90, and I subtract it by 54. And that gives me a sweater that costs $36. A tree casts a shadow that is 50 feet long. If a 5-foot tall woman casts a shadow that is 11 feet long at the same time of the day, how tall is the tree? All right, so if you're looking at here, so we're talking about shadows and objects. So every time you see anything about shadows, just do shadow over object. So the first thing we're talking about is a tree. So a tree casts a shadow that is 55 feet. So the shadow is 55, so that's on top. We don't know how tall the tree is, so that's the X. A 5-foot woman, so the woman is not a shadow, she's an object, so 5 foot goes on the bottom, casts a shadow 11 feet, so shadow on top. Now I just solved my proportion. X times 11 is 11x. 5 times 55 is 275. And then I divide both sides by 11 to give me 25 and then feet. So the tree was 25 feet tall. All right, triangle JKL, similar to triangle PQR. And then they give us some stuff. Which 3 proportions can be used to find the value of X? All right, so first of all, JK goes with PQ. Okay, so we have to use that one because that's where our X is. So I go left to right. So 8 over X has to be my first proportion. Then KL goes with QR. So I can use that proportion. I could use 6 over 3. Another thing, remember we always have to use the one with the X. So 8 over X. So another way that we could do this is using that other side, so the 10 and the 5. So that would be 10 over 5. Now, I go through each one. And x has to belong with 6 or x has to belong to 10. Now, if x belongs to 6, though, the 8 and the 3 have to be in that proportion as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to find all of them where x belongs to 6. So x belongs to 6, x belongs to 6, x belongs to 6. Now remember, if x belongs to 6, then let's use blue. 8 has to be with 3. So 8 has to be with 3. So here, let's actually just circle. So that's a good one. If x belongs to 6, 8 has to be with 3. That is not true. So that's not good. And then 8 has to belong with 3. That is true. So that's a good one. So far we have 2. All right, now I'm going to find all of them where x belongs to 10. So x belongs with 10. So x belongs with 10. If x belongs to 10, then 8 and 5 have to be together. So 8 and 5 are together. So this is true. In none of those scenarios is x with 8. So that is not true. So it's those 3 only. All right, Ralph's Pizza Shop sells 2 sizes of rectangular pizzas that are similar in shape. So we're just going to go ahead and say this is one pizza. Here's another pizza. A large pizza is 12 inches by 18. So 12 by 18. The shorter side of the small pizza is 6 inches. This is the shorter side. Which proportion can be used to find the missing side? Let's go ahead and put an X here. All right, so then we start with the X first. We read left to right. So 18 over X equals, and then 12, 6. So 12 over 6. Now, we look and we want to find that exact proportion. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. So I look, I don't see that exact proportion. But I do know x has to be with 12. So I look at all of my x's, and the only one where x is with 12 is B. Mr. Harden needs to take a loan out to buy a new car. He plans to borrow $30,000 from the bank, which charges 7.5% simple interest. How much money will he pay in interest after 2 years? All right, remember, if it's an interest, I am pretty. The money amount is my principal, so that's $30,000. My rate, which a lot of people forgot, remember, as a percentage, I have to turn that into a decimal. So that's 0.075. And then my time is in years, and sure enough, it's 2 years. So now I just multiply all that goodness together. And that should give me $4,500. And all they ask is how much money will he pay in interest. So I'm done. Mr. Brewer's commission rate is 4%. How much will he receive on a sale of $14,525? I turned 4% into a decimal. Pew, pew. So that's 0.04 times $14,525. And that should give me $581. And that's it. That's his commission, $581. An accident on the interstate has caused traffic to move at a crawl. The traffic is moving at a rate of 7 feet for every 3 minutes. 7 feet or 70 feet for every 3 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take the car to move 280 feet? So we have feet over minutes. So 70 feet for every 3 minutes. And then it says 280 feet. Feet's on top, so 280. Now I cross multiply. 3 times 280 is 840, and 70 times x is 70x. Divide both sides by 70, and that gives me 12, and then minutes. Sean ran 26.2 miles for a marathon. There are, here we go, this is our scale. So first of all, we need to set up our proportions. So feet over miles. So just if I start at the first one, 5,280 feet for 1 mile. And then they tell me 26.2 miles. Miles is on the bottom. So X needs to be on the top. Now I multiply. 1 times X is X, or 1X. And then 5,280 times 26.2 gives me this big number. 138,336, and it says feet. What is the percent decrease? Okay, percent increase or decrease is difference over original. So 9,000, 7,500, so I do 9,000 minus 7,500, and the original was 9,000. So I should have 1,500 over 9,000, which gives me this decimal. And then remember, I round that to my nearest whole percent. So I still have to go over twice. And then so that would be 16.6. If I want a whole number, this 6 would bump this 6 up. So it's actually 17%. And it was a decrease. Target has a chair for this. Okay, so it's on sale. I turn this 15% into a decimal. Multiply by $59.99. And I get 8.9985. Remember, this is money, so this is going to kick this up actually to $9. That's the discount. So the total, I would take $59.99 and subtract $9. So over here, the chair is going to cost me $50.99. At Macy's, they just straight up give you a $20 coupon. So I just have to subtract $20. So over here, I get $44.99. So the better buy is at Macy's. Percent over 100 equals is over of, or you could do it backwards, it doesn't matter. So 40%, percent goes up here, so 40 over 100 of 120, of is on the bottom. Now I cross multiply. 100 times x is 100x. 40 times 120 is 4800. And then you divide both sides by 100. So x equals 48. 30, so percent over 100 equals is over of. 30 is, so is on top. 8%, percent is over here. And then we want to know of what number. 100 times 30 is 3,000. 8 times x is 8x. And then we divide both sides by 8. So 3,000 divided by 8 is 375. All right, so here's the similar. Circle all true statements. I'm going to do the cheat way because I think personally it's the easiest. So rectangle or R is congruent to T. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. N is congruent to S. Those line up, so yes. NP is congruent to ST. Yes, that looks good. To solve a proportion, so NM would be this one. So they put NM with 10. Okay, so NM is going to go, is with 10. And then 6 is with 5. That's good. Okay, let's start again. PM, so PM is with 12. And then they say 4 is with 6. That looks good.